Hello and welcome to today's ARC podcast. My name is David Humphrey. I'm Research Director with ARC Advisory Group based in Germany. And I'm happy to have in the studio today Rob Russel of Siemens. Rob, I believe you're head of PDM strategy at Siemens. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And within the customer services division of digital enterprises. Yeah.
Well, that fits perfectly because we want to talk about PDM today.
That's great.
And I think of PDM as it's not something new. It's been around for years. It's delivering a lot of value to the maintenance and upkeep of very expensive, very valuable assets. I see it as a subset of asset management. That's how we structure it in our market studies that we produce on maintenance management and things like that, and predictive management. But to me, predictive management is, as opposed to schedule management, oiling the bearings every 6 months, is using some sort of feedback, information coming back from the machine to oil the bearings or do whatever maintenance at an interval that is optimal for the equipment. But it needs it in order to prevent anything that might lead to downtime. Is that a good definition of predictive maintenance, or how do you see it?
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's a domain that's been around for decades. I think what's made it much more relevant today is the ability to connect up to things. Probably remember lots of hype back in maybe around about 2010 about the industrial Internet of Things. Now we just take that for granted. Most machines, the majority of them within factories are connected in some way, and the data can be accessible. And therefore what that enables is any of that data and information that's there you can use to understand the condition of the machine. So there's dedicated condition monitoring sensing in some cases, and other cases you're reusing data that's there for machine control and automation and repurposing that. And what that allows you to do is start to enable a predictive maintenance strategy for your machines. So as you mentioned, typically you will be running a scheduled maintenance routine and inspecting the machine maybe every month or every 1,000 running hours or something like this. But if you can actually make that far more data driven, you can move to a predictive maintenance scenario where you're predicting when the maintenance need is required. Not necessarily predicting the failure, but predicting when you have to bring somebody down to look at the machine. And it's not to say that these other maintenance strategies aren't relevant, right? PDM and predictive maintenance sits there alongside you might have a reactive maintenance strategy, a planned maintenance strategy, and a predictive maintenance strategy, and you bring all of those together. There is a lot of talk about these being maturity levels, but an asset manager will blend these where it makes sense for specific machine types and machine criticality.
The solution we're talking about is called Senseye predictive maintenance. What is Senseye exactly? And is it hardware that I buy and install somewhere? Is it software? Is it a service?
Yeah, so Senseye at the core is a cloud-based application that receives time series data and automatically analyzes that and then provides actionable insights back to the user in the factory, typically maybe a maintenance manager or somebody within a maintenance team. But as we are within sort of wider Siemens, we're a single portfolio item in there. There's adjacent portfolio that we bring into that wider Senseye family, which includes things like connectivity, dedicated sensing, and sometimes even we bring together solutions for adjacent applications where you might need something to give you a workflow for your maintenance activities. So we see these portfolio items that we have within Siemens is coming together under a wider holistic predictive maintenance banner to enable the customer to have a full solution that will align with their factory digitization strategy.
Okay, predictive maintenance, it's sifting through a lot of data to try to find the proverbial needle in a haystack to predict something that has not happened that might come. And it requires, once I sift the data, it requires a lot of interpretation. I see AI touching applications in industrial automation everywhere. I'm shocked and pleasantly surprised at how many copilots are coming out and how they're delivering real value right away. I think of for Siemens programming tools, the copilots that program code for you or suggest blocks of code that others have written that might be useful here to save you time and allow you, the engineer, to focus on what's most important. Predictive maintenance sounds like a fantastic candidate for the application of AI and even in different aspects, different places. Can you talk about how AI has transformed the Senseye predictive maintenance solution recently?
Yeah, very much. It's been at the core of what we've done really for the last 10 years or more. And it's really thinking about how you can utilize AI and machine learning technology to fundamentally scale the role of the human, right? So as we've got a massive, exponential increase in connected machines, this is overwhelming for humans. So utilizing what now is regarded more as conventional AI, like machine learning and analytics of time series data, that's a kernel in everything that we do. And we can automatically detect when machines are becoming abnormal and moving into failure scenarios. But you're very true, in the last, it's probably getting close to 3 years now, there has been this step change with the introduction of generative AI, and this is becoming much more commonplace. And we were one of the very first products within Siemens to have an industrial copilot embedded within the product in an operational scenario. And the really important aspect of that now is taking the output from that traditional machine learning and analytics, and then transforming that into something that is meaningful and simple enough for a user to understand and quickly get to a resolution. That can be based on interpreting the output of the core analytics and describing that in a more accessible way, rather than people looking through lots and lots of charts. But also it's got access to other pieces of data as well. It understands the historic maintenance that's happened on machines and similar machines, and it can build on top of this. And we can also supplement the system with user manuals and other technical documentation, so then it can hone in quite specifically into providing you, towards a diagnosis of the problem and quickly get you there. So yeah, it's very much that traditional AI and then supplementing it with the generative AI in the form of copilots.
All right, Rob, it sounds fantastic. I like your description, but it would help if we could visualize it. And I did ask you to bring along a demo today. Would you mind walking us through the Senseye predictive maintenance? I'd like to see some of these features that you've been talking about.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen quickly, and we'll dive straight in. So the application, it's a cloud-based application, runs in a web browser, no need for any local software to actually access and run this. So what we've got here is just a standard homepage based on a number of fictitious companies that we have in a demonstration account, so I can share this openly. This page is intended more as a management dashboard. So if we just drop down into maybe the pharmaceutical factory area here, we can see some key pieces of information that might be useful, like number of open cases, number of connected assets that we have, things that we've got on our watch list. And further statistics down here that maybe from a management perspective you can work on. But if we move down and start having a look maybe in one specific area of the factory where we can see there's a yellow indication which is telling me I've got an asset that's maybe needing my attention, and we can see in here this air compressor, and I'll just make this a little bit bigger so we can see everything in here. So we've got this air compressor that's within the system. We've got a number of different pieces of data coming in. We call these measures or time series data. This could be anything from maybe a vibration signal to simpler things we see here like motor current and torque and compressor load. But the system's bringing me back to this asset by marking it as yellow. I probably would have got a notification either via email or pushed into my maintenance management system. But I don't want to have to sit and wade through this time series data. So if we go to the case, which is the notification, this is where we've got a combination now of the analytics has picked up something really unusual happening on this air inlet flow, and it's this rising trend. It's bringing this to my attention. It's telling me what's going on. This has been going on for 28 days. And then the Copilot has actually started to investigate historic maintenance events, used its sort of general knowledge, and it's providing me possible explanations of what could be causing this. And this is all completely automated. So the idea here is that we're scaling the role of the reliability or the condition monitoring engineer, and bringing data directly to a maintenance team.
Could I ask a question, Rob? I just want to make sure I understand this. This anomaly or unusual circumstances were brought to your attention. You and I are just the operator. We're just watching our screen here, and this gets brought to our attention. The possible explanations, I find that really interesting. It looks like it's comparing what we see today with an incident that had a lot of similarities from, that was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, this one
is
here,
that the case? Is that what I'm seeing?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
interesting.
I can click on this and I can look back, and it will bring me back to the data 2 years ago, and it shows me what happened. It's just pulling the time series data in now to let me see that, and also it can give me clues and indications as to maybe what was carried out and what happened at that point in time. There we are, and I can see there's very, very similar behaviour in the past, but I can see here there's some work carried out. There was a maintenance event. So probably what I want to do is go back to that that point in time, and just double check to see what maintenance activity was conducted. That would be the 11th of December. It's a UK date format rather than a US, and I can actually see what did the maintenance team do. I can see who actually closed this off 2 years ago. Maybe I might want to talk to them if they're still employed, and I can more quickly get to a resolution this time by utilising that history that the system knows about.
Okay, so that drop off at the end of the blue area means that the values return to normal operating conditions.
Exactly. This is probably the effect
of
the maintenance carried out, and it's gone back to its normal operating condition. Yeah.
I see.
And
all right.
The system starts to kind of relearn and rebaseline what normal now looks like again.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really helpful. What if I don't know what to do? I mean, I see possible explanations. Can I ask the system to give me suggestions on what to do, where to look, what to start unscrewing?
Exactly. So this is more of a kind of a static output from a Copilot, but I've got this icon at the bottom here. I can select on this, and now I can have a direct conversation with my Copilot. There we go. What action should I take to fix this problem? I can go in now. Remembering as well that in addition to the system's sort of general knowledge that it has, we've also supplied the system with access to the maintenance manual for this compressor as well. So it's bringing me in with various pieces of information, but also pointing me back to the maintenance manual for this compressor and suggesting specific activities. So, the system becomes richer with the more interaction it has with users, but the users can also supplement the system's knowledge with dedicated documentation that it might have. And we can maybe ask, how was this resolved in the past? But it's fully sort of conversational with this Copilot activity.
Yeah. I like the calling up of the historical things, because if a problem was solved once one way, I just want to do the same thing every time. I don't want to reinvent the solution every time. And this looks really, really helpful with that historical data being so quickly available.
Exactly. And one other aspect that we see is that that you've got a change in the way that people actually work nowadays. People aren't in the same job for maybe 20 or 30 years, right? So there's the old scenario maybe where you've got an older colleague that's been in the factory for 20 years, and he knows when he hears that specific sound that something is going wrong. But those type of people, they're all retiring now, and in effect, I like to think of Senseye as your long-term colleague that has seen everything, heard everything before, and has got access to all of that information. So it can be your true sort of co-pilot or maintenance advisor.
This looks great. You're based in the UK, and I'm based over here in Germany. What do I do if I deploy this in a plant here in Germany and people's technical English isn't exactly up to snuff?
Yeah, I mean, you would just go into your account settings and you would change your own personal settings to different languages. We support the majority of European languages, even some APAC type languages like Thai, Chinese, Japanese, and it's very simple for us to add in another language set. As we experience a new customer base. So yeah, the whole thing can be tailored to suit your local options or local needs.
There are other predictive maintenance solutions on the market. What's the real value in your view of the Senseye solution?
Yeah, I think it's combining it with firstly the power of Siemens, where we have all that access to connectivity to just about every machine type. But also, in addition to that, is the fact that we really focus on scale, right, and how to apply this at scale. So most of our customers, they'll start out maybe with connecting up 100 assets or 100 machines, but quickly move into the hundreds or the thousands. We're working in factories where you've got up to 2,000 connected machines. And that's been a real focus for us, and it's doing that both enabling the technical scale, but also enabling the scale from a business model perspective as well, right? So that, and we've got a real focus on supporting the customers with customer success management, ensuring that you get a really good return on investment. And it's not the sort of thing it's not the sort of technology that you just deliver to a customer and then walk away and hope for the best. I'd say 50% of the problem is solved with technology, 50% is actually solved with service and customer success management, because you're actually trying to encourage adoption of the technology and cultural change within organisations. People need to realise that the technology is not threatening their job, it's actually making them more effective, and that's a really big aspect in the way that we work with our customers.
In my career, I've seen plenty of cases where the technology is there, it's fantastic, but the humans don't accept it. They fear it, they feel threatened, and we humans are very clever. We find workarounds. We find ways to trick software into giving false positives but giving us the feeling that we're allowed to keep our jobs at least. But I don't see that here. I find that interface very, very friendly, very simple, very straightforward, very humane. I'm aware of other maintenance management solutions, asset management from within the Siemens portfolio. How will Siemens align or realign? I'm thinking of the brand of Senseye, which I think came from an acquisition some years ago. Is everything predictive maintenance going to be called Senseye now, or how is Siemens going to line up the products in the future?
Yeah, so I was part of that original startup, one of the co-founders, and then as we were acquired just over 3 years ago now, that's been a really large aspect of what I've been doing during that time, looking and working across the various sort of business units within Siemens and trying to come up with a full alignment on that portfolio, because I think, as I mentioned, the strength there, if we bringing those portfolios together, actually gives us something that's like a really strong, capable solution in the marketplace. So yeah, we think internally in terms of a holistic predictive maintenance solution, and then within the customer services area where we work with Senseye, we really do think of that as an extended Senseye family, where we have various products that all form part of that, whether that is the connectivity, in some cases, edge processing to get the right data out of complex machines like CNCs, but then also supplementing it with the Siemens' own maintenance management systems and other platforms as well. If you've got a wider digital vision, you need a full-blown IoT platform, and this is where we've got the Insight Hub offering that we are natively compatible with. So we like to talk about other products being Senseye ready and having a level of interoperability with us. But on saying that, though, it's not a lock-in, right? We've got customers that are using competitive technology to Siemens's maybe automation technology, and we can work with that as well, right? So we don't lock in, and we don't kind of exclude ourselves from working with non-Siemens technology as well.
Well, if I can summarize, one thing that's always fascinated me about the development of technology is the problem, the dilemma of complexity. As we develop our technologies, things get more and more complex, and in the plant and the factory, we need to go in the other direction. We want to reduce complexity. We want to make things more accessible. We want to have tools that can be used from data scientists down to newly hired machine operators. And I think I see that direction being followed right now with Senseye predictive maintenance. And I think that's a very positive development for our industry. Any sort of reduction in complexity, increase in flexibility, and accessibility is to be welcomed.
Yeah, and very much we look at different user personas from maybe the engineering director that's responsible for the production line, right through to the specialist that's maybe responsible for condition monitoring of highly critical assets. And then right down, our key end user, I would say, is somebody within the maintenance team that just wants a quick answer to figure out what he has to go and do that day to ensure that he's keeping that production line running smooth and avoiding any unforeseen downtime.
That's a wrap, I would say. Rob Russel from Siemens, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for enlightening us, showing us what the Senseye solution could do, but in particular about the enhancements that are the new possibilities opened up by adding AI, by the addition of the copilots. Thanks very much for joining us. And to our audience, thanks for listening in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next podcast.
Okay, thank you, David.